This video is a note-by-note breakdown of the guitar solo. The tuning used in this video and on the record is E-flat and 440 wavelength calibration. If you are unsure how to tune the E-flat, please watch the video on this channel. E-flat tuning and enharmonic notes for guitar and bass by Marc Wilson, and then return. To start out the solo, let's take the first finger and place it on the B and high E strings at the 12th fret. We're going to bar these two strings to create a power chord. The first measure of the solo is a full measure of straight eighth notes, counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You'll use proper alternate picking, just like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now notice that when we finished that measure, it came on an upstroke, an upward picking motion. And the power chord was allowed to ring out for a little bit before we slid down in pitch. With a 4 count lead in, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to go back to that power chord with the first finger, and we're going to play 4 more eighth notes. We're going to start with an upward picking motion right after 2. It'll be counted and 3 and 4. Picked up, down, just like this. And 3 and 4. And 3 and 4. On 4, after we pick it down, we're going to slide to the 10th fret on the and beat. Okay, we're not going to pick it here. The note is sounded by the slide, just like this. Let's do that from the very start of the solo, just to make sure you're not lost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, from this point what you're going to do is your fingers barring these two strings on the 10th fret. You're going to pick the high E string, you're going to pick the B string at the 12th fret by placing your third finger there. You're going to go back to the high E string, your finger's already barring that note. You're going to go to the B string now. Your finger is barring this note on the 10th fret. So this is what you have there. I'm just going to do this section of the song, not from the start. Okay, did you see what I'm doing there? From this point, I'm going to place the third finger on the 12th fret of the B string and pick it. Then I'm going to remove it. Your finger's already barring the note on the 10th fret. We'll pick that again, then slide up to the 12th fret, just like this. Let me do that section just so you can see what I mean. Okay, let me do that again. Let's do the entire solo up until that point. I'm not going to count out all the notes that I'm picking because when you're soloing, it's not always practical or possible. It's just certain sections you can do it. A lot of times it actually makes it more difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4. From this point, we're going to place the third finger on the G string at the 14th fret. We're going to bend this up a step in pitch, then release it, just like this. It was only picked once. Then we'll go to the 12th fret on that same string, just like that. Then we're going to go to the 14th fret on the D string, play that. So we got this. We're going to go to the 12th fret on the D string, then back to the 14th fret on that same string. This is what we have. Just like that. Then we're going to go to the 12th fret on the G string, then we'll go back to the 14th fret on the G string. We're going to bend that up a step in pitch and hold it. This is what we have right there. I'll do that again. Let's do the entire solo from the very beginning up to that point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now notice I'm holding it there a step up in pitch. I'm going to lay my first finger on the B and E strings again, bar them like we have been doing, and I'm just going to pick the high E string. I'm going to let this note that we're bending ring with the high E string like this. And I'm going to pick this while it's still bent, and then release it like this. Just that section, this is what's going on there. Let me do that again. Okay, let's do the entire solo up into that point right from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, from that point, we're going to do this. Okay? What I'm doing there is I'm going from the B string at the 12th fret. I'm going to pick that. And I'm going to the 14th fret on the G string. Okay, notice how I picked this 1, 2. I'm not counting it out. I'm just showing you the picking. Just like that. Okay, you can see that I'm going from the 12th fret on the B string to the 14th fret on the G string. I'm going to pick this note again before I go to the 12th fret on the G string, just like this. Okay, then I'm going to go to the D string on the 14th fret. Okay, see how I did that? I went 14 to the 12th, back to the 14th, just like this. Now I'm going to go to the G string on the 12th fret and pick that. Then back to the 14th fret on the D string and slide down. This is what we have right there. Just like that. Let's do the entire solo up until that point. 1, 2, 3, 4. This section of the solo is actually going to be played more like a rhythm than a lead. We're going to start out by placing the first finger on the D string at the 9th fret. This first measure is going to be a measure full of straight eighth notes. The first 2 eighths will be played at this position, counted 1 and picked down up. Just like that, 1 and. We'll go to the 11th fret of the same string with that 3rd finger. We'll pick this down on 2. And we'll go back to the 9th fret on the upbeat after 2. We're going to have 1 and 2 and, just like this. And then on 3, you're going to place your pinky on the 12th fret and pick this down. And then we're going to slide to the 14th fret. Okay, this note on the 14th fret, we're not going to pick it. That note's going to be sounded by the slide. This is what we have. 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, and at that point we pick the open D string down on 4. We go back to this note on the 9th fret on the upbeat directly after 4. This is what the first measure is going to sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now every time we get back to this note, from here on out, it's on the last eighth of the measure. We're going to let it sustain into the next measure. What it will be is tied to the eighth note that starts the next measure. What we're really doing is allowing it to ring out like a quarter note. So the second measure, what we're going to do is pick that note again on the upbeat after 1. We're going to pick the note on the 11th fret down on 2, and we're going to pick the note on the 9th fret again on the upbeat after 2, just like this. And 2 and. Notice it's picked up, down, up, and 2 and 2 and 2 and. Let's do that right up to that point, this section of the solo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and. From this point we go back to the 12th fret on 3, just like we have been doing. We're going to pick that down on the 3 beat. Now instead of sliding up to the 14th fret, we're going to pick the note on the 11th fret instead, on the upbeat directly after 3. This is what that second measure is going to sound like. And 2 and 3 and, just like that, and 2 and 3 and. Notice the picking motion, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, and then we're going to go back to this note on the 9th fret again and pick it up on the upbeat after 4. This is going to recur throughout the rest of this segment. Let's do this entire segment right up until that part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, then I go back to here. What we're going to do is we're essentially just going to repeat those 2 measures 3 or 4 times until we do something different to come out of it. If I give you a 4 count lead in, I feel pretty confident you can follow along until we get to that point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, at this point, we're going to come out of it by going to the G string at the 14th fret. We're going to pick this note on the upbeat right after 1. We're going to bend it up a step in pitch just like this. Okay, the bend is actually sounded as and, just like. Then we're going to release the bend on 2, and 2, just like that, and 2. And on the and beat after 2, we're going to play the note on the 12th fret of that same string. And 2 and 2 and, just like that. We'll finish up that measure by toggling between the D and G strings. We're going to play 4/8 notes, counted 3 and 4 and, pick down, up, down, up. Okay, the notes we're going to toggle between are the note on the 14th fret of the D string and the note on the 12th fret of the G string, just like this. 3 and 4 and. Okay, down, up, 3 and 4 and. This is what that last measure is going to sound like. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's do this entire segment of the solo right up to that point. I'll give you a 4 count lead in, but I'm not going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. The last measure of the previous segment was played like this. From this point, we're going to place that 3rd finger on the 14th fret of the G string. I'm not sure how to count this from here on out, so we're going to have to do it more by feel. We're going to take this note, we're going to bend it up a step in pitch and release it like this. And after that, we're going to pick the note on the 12th fret of the same string like this. We're going to repeat that 4 times, just like this. Now on the 5th time, we're going to bend this note again, but we're not going to release it. We're just going to deaden it out. right there, just like that. What you're going to do from that point is take that first finger and lay it across the B and high E strings again, and bar those 2 strings at the 12th fret. And we're going to toggle between these notes here and this note that we're bending. Okay, in that same position, the 14th fret on the G string. We're going to start out by picking these 3 times on upstrokes, 8th notes, up, down, up. And then we're going to toggle between this note and these. We'll pick it with 2 beats in between on the power chord we're barring. And when we end it, we'll actually pick these 4 times. Let me do that one time because it's very confusing to try to talk you through it. Hopefully you can pick up on that. Let's do this entire segment right from the last measure of the previous segment on a 4-count lead in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. A distorted supporting rhythm guitar part is somewhat lost in the mix during the solo. A sheet music transcript was not available to figure it out accurately. The clean guitar part played as the main riff also sounds like it might be there, but it's also buried in the mix. The only distinguishable part is the clean E minor chord that rings out freely at the end of the solo. This closing segment features only the clean part as a supporting rhythm underneath the solo.